Well, good morning. Jeffrey here again. And as you know, I'm with Steve from Steve's Place Old Under in Australia. And he's going to give me a little walk around of some of his, I guess, agricultural tractor collection. Of course, you call them all, tractors are always agricultural. Only we call them prime movers tractors. So, tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I'm Steve from Steve's Place Down Under here in Sydney, Australia. I collect farm tractors and prime movers and old earth moving equipment. I've got a channel where I work on a lot of it, drive a lot of it, start a lot of it, so if anyone's interested in that, go over and have a look on YouTube. That'd be great. This is some of the tractor collection, the rest is up there and down the back. So the first one is a Sami Centauro made in Italy. I don't know many years or anything of these. This isn't mine yet, but I will end up with it. I haven't acquired it yet. But 4-wheel drive, got a V4 air-cooled in it. Note the 2 exhaust blades. Similar to a Deutz. No radiator. If you tip water in that there, it's a fuel tank, not the...
And you got problems.
Yeah. This does run. If you want to see a video of the first start I do on my channel, go over and have a look. It's nearly up to 1 million views, which I didn't think would ever get there. But needs rebuilding, breathes very heavy, but just a set of injectors may even make it come good, so I'm not sure how they are. It's got an underslung blade on it, very stable, low to the ground machine. We used it for a bit and then we just didn't need it anymore. So next one here is a Zeta 6911 made in Czech Republic. About a 65 horsepower machine, 70 horsepower machine, 2-wheel drive. Again, not mine, it's a property across the road, but probably will end up with it. I do all my slashing and maintenance around here with it. Very powerful machine. I don't know a lot else about it. It's very different to drive than a normal tractor with different levers and stuff, but still a good thing to use. Very powerful, very comfortable. It's got front suspension on it, which a lot of tractors don't have, so when the front end comes up, the wheels will still stay on the ground. Power steering. It's got an air compressor here, which I only just found out what that was for blowing out air filters and pumping up tyres, which is it's not really a standard fitment for any other tractor. I've never seen anyway, so I only just found that out from another video I did on a smaller one that I've got. So this one here is a 165 Massey Ferguson I bought off my family when they sold the property. 65 horsepower, it's got multi-power, which is like a half a gear. Power steering, 2-wheel drive. It's just nothing real special about it. It's a good runner, it's a good goer, but it's actually got water in the oil, so I think all that rain we had, it got down the exhaust. That's why I stopped using it. So it's not a problem with the engine, I don't think. It's just got down past the rings, I would imagine. I hope so. One in there is I've got 2 of those. They're fairly rare here in Australia, but I have got 2. That's a Massey Ferguson 30 along with the one behind it. Now they're made in France. Very different. There's not a thing the same between those and the Pommy Fergies, I don't think. It's got a Perkins in it, but everything else is different. Very hard to get parts for. So I don't really work those. I've got a rake on one of them, which is easy to drag around, but I don't slash or anything. This one I bought off my cousin here. He started doing it up, then lost interest. And that one there I bought off a mate of mine, so that is mine. Good, runs good. Got a standard British made Perkins in it. Everything else is sort of hard to get on them, so I think they got the same seat and a few bits and pieces as the British ones, but a lot of other stuff's different. Fairly rare in Australia again, but I happen to have 2 for some reason. Next one's a 35 Fergie. They're very standard here in Australia. These are the better ones of this size. It's got a 3-cylinder Perkins diesel in it. Some had 4-cylinder petrol, some had 4-cylinder diesel standards, but these are the better ones. This one we bought off our family farm many, many years ago. It actually started itself one night with the stopper out, the starter engaged, and it was in gear, so it drove itself into the shed and just kept going until the starter caught alight and burned it all to the ground. That's why there's no bonnet or anything. It all just heat distorted it. I have still got it, but I ended up painting it up years and years ago and sort of sat outside in and out of sheds ever since, so it's why it's looking a bit rough, but we use this all the time, this one. Very good little tractor for a small property, these. One of the better ones you can buy at the time. Still a great machine. This here's a B1414, I think, or a 250. Can't remember. A British-made International. It's got an International engine in it. I bought this off a mate of mine. It come with a slasher. I put on the Fergie here, and it's got a worn lobe in the fuel injector pump, so it's put one cylinder out of timing, so it doesn't run properly. That's why it's sitting here. Early 60s machine, I'd imagine. I'm not sure.
See, that's one thing. The British-made diesels were completely different engines on Internationals. I don't know about the rest of the tractors, but as far as their engines, they were
very different.
Strictly just British.
No, they were pre-combustion engines. Pre-combustion glow plugs in the side there, as you can see. But I have swapped injectors, and it just keeps smoking on that one cylinder. So I would say it's a lobe borne off the camshaft inside the injector pump, which is putting that one cylinder out of timing. Because you've got to fill these. They've got oil in them, so if that oil runs out, that's how they run. They'll just wear out. I'd like to get it going, but an injector pump here in Australia, that'd be $1,200 or $1,500 just to get them to look at it. The whole thing's not worth that. This one here's a E27N. Mate of mine owns it. Fordson. Very standard. They're very common here in Australia. Side valve 4-cylinder. They're not real handy. They haven't got a low range gear. These. They don't pull real well, but we've had it in a tractor pull and didn't even take the kinks out of the chain. So good farming machine, but just not for pulling down low.
What era would that be, year-wise, approximately?
50s, I'd imagine.
50s.
But then, I'm not a fan. I'm not an expert on year models, but I'd imagine early 50s, mate. I think they made them for a long time too. So. They made the later one. Some of them had a P6 Perkins diesel in them, or they had these. So. Very common here in Australia. They're not worth much, but still good to look at. They're still old.
Those are two of the main criteria. Good to look at and old.
Yeah, well, that's right. This one here is an International diesel, but
Somebody painted it blue.
554. Someone's painted it blue. I'm just trying to look for the year. I don't know. So it's a 554. I went and picked it up for a mate of mine when I was on a truck run, actually, and brought it back here. Then he said I can have it. So one day, if I get time, I'll do some work to it. It does run. It runs fine. It's got a centre blown out of one of the glow plugs, but apart from that, it runs good. All that ugly blade I'll take off it. That's just all a waste of time. But I'll just make a farm tractor out of it, and we've got the rest of the panels for it. So one day, if we get time, we'll do a video on fixing it up, I suppose, and starting it. But don't think there's anything special about it. I think it's an Australian model. I think they were different here.
That looks about to be the size of like a W9 by us.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And maybe there are some interchangeable parts, but not that. They had their own complete engine.
Yes. Yep. They were,
nothing at all to do with American international diesels.
I think on the prefix it might have an A or something for Australia like that. So again, it's just something I acquired. So.
And I don't know much about them either, or darn little anyway.
This here is an Australian-made Chamberlain. It's got a 4270 Perkins in it. They were made back the front like this. I think they were an R1250 or something. Don't quote me on that, but this one had all these additions made on it because it used to drive between sawmills. This has been in our family for many, many years. Used to drive it on the main road because Chamberlain's have got a gear that'll take them up to 45 mile an hour.
See, I didn't realize that. I knew Chamberlain built agricultural.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had anything industrial
like
this.
They did, yeah. But they'll back the front, so it's basically a 9G Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Basically a 9G. Yeah.
I won't get to see one of those while I'm here anymore.
No.
I'd like to see a Chamberlain 2-cylinder opposed, but
you'd have to go to a collector or another. Well, I haven't got
They got to be highly collectible, I would think.
So my family used to have a logging business. We cutting pit props, holding up underground mines and stuff like that, and this used to unload all the trucks, or load the trucks from the sawmill. different to any other one you'll see. Nothing special about it, but I just wanted to keep it in the family. Which is great. I've got the bonnet for it, but there was a higher radiator put in it, so it won't now fit. It used to be, but I've still got that. It's on the forks. This here is a Renault. Only got it a couple of weeks ago. I don't know the model of it. I'll just read it out to you because I'm not familiar with it. R3042 3042 Renault. Made in France, same as the cars. If you heard that correctly, it is Renault, the same as the car manufacturer. Side valve 4-cylinder in it. I don't know a lot of history. The bloke we bought it off bought it, I think it was repossessed after it was new, and they bought it with a heap of implements, and they farmed with it ever since until they didn't need it anymore. Then we went out and bought it, so it still runs great. We'll probably start it up while you're here some stage. Runs great, runs on petrol obviously, or gas. Would have been an old kerosene machine years ago, but now we just run them on petrol, so that's all I can really tell you about that. Probably late 40s model, something like that. They come out the same era as the grey Fergies. Because the Fergies were dearer, none of these got sold. These were dearer, sorry, only by a couple of dollars, but people favoured the grey Massey Fergusons over these for some reason, so that's all I can really say about that. I don't know much about it myself. They're fairly rare here, mate. I'd never seen one. This here is just a standard Farmall H, I think, very basic, no electric starter or anything. It's a mate of mine owns this. We've never had it going. He bought it and dropped it off here, and so we will do a video on that one day. You can tell us anything else about you might know about them, Jeffrey. But
Well, as the rear wheels, all of you in the States, I've never seen anything like that. Solid cast, and they are IH. All our wheels, cast wheels, are spoked, and it's the basic model. A friend of mine has one of the basic models with no electric start. This one has no belly pump, real basic. Belt pulley, so it was meant just for pulling and belt work. But to me, the interesting thing is that it'd be the basic model with no electric start, yet it didn't come on steel unless it was changed at some point in its life. But in the States, most of them that came on steel, they did it by cutting off the steel wheels. So to me, it's kind of interesting, the fact that it's the basic model with no electric start, no belly pump, but still on rubber. So to me, that's quite unusual, I would say.
It's in fairly good condition too.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Never had it going. Very basic, but she's still old. This here's a Massey Ferguson 35, the same as the other British one over here, but it's like a 3-cylinder Perkins. But it's an industrial model, so these came out with a backhoe and a front end loader on them originally. Got a lot heavier build at the front. Got power steering, which the other ones haven't got. Solid front axle and wheels just to support the loader frame. But basically the rest of the machine's the same transmission and brakes and everything. Nothing special about it, I don't think, but again, I bought it off the family when they were selling, so I think I paid $1,000 for it, and that's very cheap to me for a going 35 Perkins. I don't use it, it's a handful compared to the red one, but this here's an E27N, the same as the other one down there, but it's just configured different. It's got steel wheels, as you can see, on the back and rubber on the front, and an underslung blade. So bought this at an auction many years ago, and it does run very good, but not something I ever do start, only if I've got to move it or do a video or something. So nothing overly special about it. It's got hydraulics, as you can see, fairly basic setup. The pump and the valve and everything are all in one there. I just thought it looked good to sit here, so that's basically why I got it. I just like anything old.
And this probably would have been originally, oh, that's the hydraulic reservoir there.
Yeah.
But they still have, looks like two fuel caps would have been kerosene.
Start them on
gas, petrol, and switch to.
When they warm up, they've got the heat manifold, as you know. Still got the magneto on it, which a lot were converted. Again, nothing special about it, but it's just old and unique, I suppose.
And the only one I'll probably ever see.
Yeah, they didn't have them over there.
They're, I don't know, not anything like this. They're, I don't think. I mean, there might be some, but
Yeah. Yeah, big in Australia and England, I'd imagine. This one's a Massey Harris 44K petrol. Bought it locked up many years ago and ended up pulling the head off it, and we just honed it out with the piston still in it. Not great practice, I guess, but we did it and just blew it all out. And a couple of bores a bit rough on it, but it runs great. It'll run good. I've still got a carby kit to put in it, which is up there in the shed. I think we didn't give a lot for it, but it's in fairly straight condition, as you can see. It's got Massey Harris Sunshine still painted on it.
now, was Massey Harris, did they have in collaboration or a contract with Sunshine here in Australia?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that's
because
right.
Sunshine, they were the harvesters.
Yes. So, and they made the harvesters too. So I don't really know the collaboration.
Yeah.
Whether they sold them or it was part of them, or. But that's not. You wouldn't see that in the US, would you? With
No,
Sunshine?
with Sun, I never heard the name Sunshine
No,
till I.
No. So that's Australian for. I think they made a lot of farming implements over here. Again, nothing.
I mean, otherwise Massey Harris 44 in the States, it's nothing. And I'm not a Massey Harris person, but from me looking, it looks the same as the US ones.
Yeah. You could get them in diesel or petrol, I imagine. But
Yeah, I just recently saw a diesel one for sale.
yeah, there's nothing special about
Yeah.
this one, I don't think, but just a good old machine, and we got it cheap, so just one of those things you collect, mate. Oh.
And see if it, there, you can see the Massey Harris Sunshine. So I guess that's about it.
Well, I could tell you a lot more about them all,
Yeah.
I suppose, but that's a basic rundown of just this section of the
Yeah.
place. So
And we'll be looking at more stuff here. Right now we're kind of deciding what we're going to do next.
yeah,
Well, I'm still here in Australia, so thanks again for watching. A little rundown of Steve's tractor collection. And like I say, I don't have to say agricultural, because here in Australia, the things on the road are prime movers.
yep.
So thanks again for watching, and keep your eyes open on Steve's channel for the Willet starts and what we are doing down here. I'm going to let him post most of that on his channel. I'm just kind of posting an overview of what we're looking at and what we're going to be doing. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.